Hello and welcome to Housing Digest number 5, which is on construction specifications for superstructure. My name is Dr. Shailesh Kumar Agrawal, Executive Director of BMTPC. This is an attempt by BMTPC to provide useful but often ignored information about multifarious activities involved in house construction and other technical and non-technical matters associated with building materials and construction technologies. Every individual has a dream of owning a house, and through this series, uh, we will slowly unravel myths and misconceptions about building construction. The language used here is simple uh, to comprehend. The previous digest was on foundation. Having completed the foundation, the next important element of house construction is superstructure, which will be explained to you through these slides. Superstructure is the portion of house, as explained you in earlier digest as well, constructed immediately above the substructure, that is foundation and plinth. It is the mainstay of your house, as its proper construction enables comfortable and safe living. Superstructure normally comprises of walls, vertical members, that is columns, horizontal members, beams, floors, slabs, staircases, parapets, mumties, and any other such elements required in basic construction of your house. Let us now discuss the number of ways in which superstructure of house can be built. The areas where good quality bricks are available, the walls of house for 2 to 3 story construction can be built out of brick with RCC beams and slabs. Such construction is known as load-bearing construction, as the load of building is transferred through these brick walls to the foundation and to the soil. The second type of construction, where the quality of brick is not dependable, the RCC frame construction is used, which is nothing but a frame of reinforcement concrete beams and columns. The spaces between beams and columns are filled with brick or any other infill material such as AC blocks or panels, etc. There may be occasion where combination of both is required. The construction type also depend on safe bearing capacity, number of stories, building plan, available budget. Also, the choice of owner plays an important role whether he or she wants to build with bricks or RCC. It is advised that both the types are good if proper quality and workmanship is maintained. Now let us discuss both these type of construction one by one. Let's first discuss load bearing construction or brick construction. As just explained you just now, here the superstructure walls are primarily of bricks, and essentially the entire load coming from slab, beams, walls, etc. is transferred to the foundation through brick walls. Particularly in northern India, where good quality bricks are available, this kind of construction is quite prevalent and proved to be economical. Normally, the thickness of wall is kept 9 inches or 230 millimeter for construction of houses up to 2 to 3 story. As I told you, good quality bricks are available in northern region of our country from Punjab to West Bengal, and therefore this construction is preferred. In other region, the strength of brick is relatively less, as the local soil available for brick manufacturing is not that good. Let me also dwell upon the brick dimension and its strength a little bit. Most of the bricks in country are made of good soil, and their size is 9 inch by 4.5 inch and 3 inch, or it is 22.5 centimeter by 11.5 centimeter by 7.5 centimeter. The bricks of other sizes, including 10 inches by 5 inches by 4 inches, are also manufactured in some parts of the country. Good bricks made out of soil are normally bright red in color and make a ringing sound when struck against each other. Good bricks should also not absorb water more than 20 of their dry weight when immersed in water for 24 hours. The strength of good brick can be 100 kg per centimeter square or more. The strength can be easily tested from the testing laboratories. It is advisable to construct load-bearing construction up to two-story only if strength of brick is not good, that is less than 70 kg per centimeter square. Again, let me caution you that this is again an indicative value, and my advice is to seek consultation from professionals in this regard. To arrive at a logical conclusions, the owners are also advised to inspect the houses in surrounding areas constructed with brick walls, number of stories being constructed, as well as quality of bricks that have been used. The practicing architects and engineers in the region can also help interpret the quality of brick and construction thereon. Nowadays, modular sized bricks are also available, which are of dimension 8 inches by 4 inches by 4 inches, or 200 by 100 by 100 mm, and they are said to be more economical in construction and can be used for load bearing construction. Burnt clay bricks are nowadays not being promoted because of environment problems, and other materials such as fly ash bricks, gypsum lime bricks, concrete and other agro-industrial waste materials are being used for making bricks. Now let's discuss how the brickwork is laid. First and foremost thing is the brickwork in superstructure is laid with mortars. This mortar is nothing but a binding material, which is usually a cement. Although other cementing material like lime can also be used. The other component of mortar is sand, which can be coarse or fine in character depending upon the strength requirements. Coarse sand provides higher strength in masonry than the finer sand. The most common mix used for mortar is 1:6, where one part of cement and 6 part of sand is being used. However, richer mixes such as 1:4 or 1:3 is also used for higher strength requirements. It is also recommended that both cement and sand are to be mixed properly with adequate quantity of water to get mortar of desired strength. The bricks are then laid in a particular method called bond, bond with mortar of required strength. Let us now discuss bonds in brickwork. The bricklaying pattern, as they are better known, are dependent on number of factors, including local practice. There are two prevalent bonds in our country, that is English and Flemish bond. Usually, English bond is followed for construction in India, and it is shown here on right-hand side of this slide. The English bond comprises of alternate layers of bricks laid in and header and stretcher, and this is shown here in bottom most picture of this figure. Care should also be taken that superstructure walls are constructed in exactly vertical manner, otherwise the structure will not be safe. Also remember, uh, uh, bricks before using should be soaked in water, and mortar should be spread on brick in a uniform manner. Once the bricks are laid, it should be cured with water for at least 7 days after construction. Also, sometimes for seismic requirements, the reinforcement bars are to be provided at corner junctions and other places, and therefore bond should be laid in a manner that all strengthening measures are well accommodated. Also, all openings for doors, windows, pipes, fittings should be appropriately provided in the superstructure walls. One of the important thing is requirement of seismic strengthening if location falls in seismic zone, and accordingly structural design and construction should incorporate the same. Let me also tell you about the workmanship. Workmanship is all about ways and means being adopted by the mason and labor for construction of your superstructure. The workmanship should be excellent, and the owner is expected to keep a strict vigil on the same. The tools like water level uh, leveling tools, tools for keeping the walls in plumb, besides other tools are must for mason to have. Also, good workmanship will ensure that wall corners and joints are meeting at right angles, that is 90-degree, or required angles as may be required in architecture plan. Also, good workmanship will ensure that walls are truly plumb, vertical, and curing of wall is properly done. In essence, good workmanship is must to make your house strong and safe. Now let's move to next category, which is RCC frame construction, which is shown here in this figure uh, of this slide. This RCC frame construction consists of series of vertical members called columns provided at corner and junctions and other places in the house, which are interconnected by horizontal members called beam to form a frame or skeleton of your superstructure. The spaces between frame is filled with bricks or other such material as may be required as per architectural details. These frames are RCC frames, and starting from foundations has to be designed by structural engineer, who in turn decide about the mix of concrete to be used, sizes of beams and columns to be provided, and reinforcement details and its detailing. RCC construction may be costlier than your load bearing wall construction, especially for residential houses of 2 to 3 stories. However, it is again the call of the owner, architect, and structural engineer to plan, design, and construct the house as per your requirement and budget. My advice is to go for load bearing construction up to 2 to 3 story if good quality bricks are available in the region. As told you earlier, the sizes of beams and columns in frame are normally given through structural design depending upon the loads. However, as per thumb rule, a typical column size may be 1 feet by 1 feet or 300 mm by 300 mm, and it can be rectangular or square. A typical beam size can be 9 inches by 12 inches or 230 by 300 mm. Ideally, building should have uniform sizes of columns and beams. Typically, the reinforcement bars are also provided in columns and beams, and they can be 4 in number, having diameter 8 mm or 10 mm. These bars are tied through lateral ties at about 9-inch to 12-inch spacing by 6 or 8 mm dia bar to get a proper gauge. Again, these diameters and spacings are based on thumb rules and indicative only. The owners are advised to refrain from these thumb rules and seek advice from civil or structural engineer. One of the important thing is the requirement of seismic strengthening if location falls in seismic zone, and accordingly structural design and construction should incorporate the same while doing construction with RCC frame construction. Another very important aspect of RCC frame construction is your concrete mix. The concrete mix adopted for encasing the reinforcement cage of beams, columns usually has the proportion 1:1.5:3, where 1 is the part of cement, 1.5 is part of coarse sand, and 3 parts of stone aggregates having nominal size of 20 mm or down. For getting good quality mix, all the 3 materials, that is cement, coarse sand, and stone aggregate, should be mixed in a concrete mixture, and good quality water, that is drinking water, should be used for mixing. Also remember that coarse sand and aggregate should not contain any impurities like trees, leaves, pieces of wood, and accordingly the sand and aggregate should be washed uh, clean by water before using them for construction. The construction of RCC frame starts from foundation, as I explained you in previous digest. RCC isolated or combined footing or raft footing, as the case may be, is first constructed, and then shuttering is provided for columns around the reinforcement cage, which is put up initially. Then concrete mix is poured in the shuttering and vibrated properly. The shuttering is usually removed after 5 to 6 days, and the concrete surface is cured with water for about a week or so, depending upon weather conditions. During summers, the curing may be done for longer period. Similar procedure is adopted for casting your beams as well. Now let us discuss these beams and columns one by one. Columns are vertical members and can be square, rectangular, or circular as per the design. The reinforcement cage as per the design has to be properly made and placed vertically and tied, giving proper cover. Also remember, the bar should be provided with sufficient overlaps while constructing higher floors. Care has to be taken that formwork is truly vertical and not out of place. The joint between the shuttering should also be tied properly so that they do not split while pouring the concrete and subsequent vibrations. The concrete of desired mix shall have to be poured gradually and properly vibrated to avoid honeycombing. On removal of shuttering, the column has to be cured for 7 to 10 days by putting gunny wax, which are to be kept moist. Now let's move to beams. Beams are normally square and rectangular in shape, as explained earlier. The reinforcement for beams as well has to be placed properly and tied with columns at the intersections and junctions. The formwork for the beams, that is base and side shuttering and centering, has to be provided with great care, especially at the junctions and intersections of columns and beams. Concrete of desired mix is then poured gradually and then vibrated. The side shuttering of beam can be removed within 12 to 15 hours of casting. However, the bottom shuttering can only be removed after 10 to 14 days as per professional advice. Here again, proper curing is required as in the case of columns. The next important element of RCC frame construction is slabs or floor slabs. These are provided in variety of ways in hilly regions such as Himachal Pradesh or J&K. Normally wooden floors are preferred, whereas floors with stone putties are provided in areas where stone is available in abundance, such as Rajasthan, AP. Northern Eastern region prefer bamboo flooring. The area where good quality bricks are available, especially in the northern part of our country, reinforced brick slab or filler slabs and other different construction methods are adopted for construction of floor slabs. However, the most prevalent one is RCC, reinforced cement concrete floor slab, which is commonly adopted in urban areas of the country. And let me now discuss that for you. The most important elements of RCC slab are its thickness, concrete mix, and the reinforcement to be provided. As a thumb rule, for a span of about 3 to 4 meters, the slab thickness is 4.5 to 5 inch thick or 110 to 120 mm. Although it should be as per structural design, the concrete mix usually is 1 is to 1.5 is to 3. The steel bars are normally 8 to 10 mm dia laid in both directions at a spacing of 6 to 8 inches. However, again, my advice is to get the design done from civil engineer with regard to thickness, mix, and reinforcement, and advice of non-professionals and thumb rules are to be avoided. Let me also tell you about how to construct RCC slab. The process of constructing RCC slab starts by erecting the centering and shuttering first. Normally, wooden planks and wooden bullies are used for shuttering and centering. However, steel shuttering is recommended and preferred for getting a good undersurface of your floor slab. Once the shuttering is laid in a level, it has to be cleaned properly, and then a bitumen coat is applied on the top of it so that once the concrete is laid, it does not stick to the surface of shuttering while stripping the shuttering. Having laid the shuttering and the coat, reinforcement bar or steel bars are laid as per the design and tied properly. Cover of reinforcement is provided by wooden or concrete blocks over the shuttering, and then the concrete is laid continuously to the required thickness and span and vibrate effectively so that there are no air gaps left in the concrete. After laying the concrete, the curing of top surface of concrete should commence within 2 to 3 days. As per climatic conditions, the curing should be done from 10 to 14 days. The prevalent method of curing is to make water pools on top of slab by making squares in mud or sand and filling them with water. The pools should be filled with water as soon as the same are dried out. Curing can also be done by putting wet gunny bags on the concrete surface. The side shuttering of slab can be removed within 2 days. However, the bottom shuttering can only be removed within 10 to 14 days. The undersurface of concrete should be cleaned with steel brushes so that no impurity is left. Having constructed RCC frame comprising of columns, beams, and slabs, the spaces between them is to be filled by brick walls or any other suitable building material. The external walls are usually 9-inch or 1 brick thick, which is 230 mm, whereas internal walls are half brick thick, that is 4.5 inches or 115 mm. Proper openings for doors, windows, lintels, and other fixtures are to be provided while putting up these infill or filler walls. Another important element of house construction is the staircase, which is shown here on the right hand side of this slide. This staircase can be made in variety of ways. It can be of steel, it can be of wood, or it can be of RCC, reinforcement concrete. The bottom picture on right hand side shows you different element of staircases: rise, tread, balusters, and wall strings, posts, handrails, etc. Staircases are generally provided in house to provide connectivity between two floors or levels. It facilitates uh, easy up and down movement without causing much stress. Although its elements such as rise, tread, as shown in this the picture, are to be properly proportioned. The staircase can be constructed in number of ways depending upon location, purpose, and availability of space, and few of staircase types are shown in the upper part of right hand picture. Let me just give you the guiding criteria for design of a staircase. Number one, location should be such that there is sufficient light and ventilation in the staircase way. The slope of a staircase is normally kept between 25 to 40 degrees. The width of a staircase should be 90 centimeter at least. In order to provide comfort and safety, the rise and tread should be uniform and the ratio should be kept such that there is comfortable climb up and down. Also, again, my advice is to seek help from architect, and other technical requirements as per National Building Code may be referred while designing the staircases. In conclusion, let me tell you that superstructure need to be constructed with the advice of professionals, that is engineers and architects, and it is quite critical from consideration of safe, quality, and healthy living. While deciding a type of superstructure, the availability of local materials, skilled manpower available and existing construction practices, and the budget constraints may also be looked into. I hope the Building Digest number 5 will be helpful for creating awareness about construction of house to the owners, and it can be downloaded from our website www.bmtpc.org. The next topic which will be covered in next digest is doors and windows. Thank you very much.